In the early hours of September 2, 1666, a small fire broke out in the bakery of Thomas Fariner on Pudding Lane in London. At first, it seemed like an ordinary accident. Fires were common because most houses were built from wood and people used candles and open fireplaces every day. However, a strong wind quickly turned the small blaze into a terrifying disaster. Within hours, flames spread from houses to house, and the city was soon covered in thick smoke. London in the 17th century was crowded with narrow streets and tightly packed buildings. The fire raced through these streets faster than anyone could control. People rushed to save their families and whatever belongings they could carry. Many loaded carts with furniture, clothes, and valuable possessions, while others escaped by boat across the river Thames. The noise of shouting crowd, collapsing buildings, and roaring flames filled the air. King Charles too personally became involved in directing effort to stop the fire. Soldiers and workers tried to create fire breaks by pulling down houses in the path of the flames. This difficult decision destroyed many homes, but it prevented the fire from spreading even further. At that time, there were no modern fire engines, and firefighters relied mostly on bucket of water, leather pumps, and hand tools. Their efforts were brave, but the wind was stronger than their equipment. The fire burned for 4 days before it was finally brought under control. By the time it ended on September 6, around 13,000 houses had been destroyed. More than 80 churches, including the famous St. Paul's Cathedral, were reduced to ruins. Surprisingly, only a small number of deaths were officially recorded, although historians believe the true number may have been much higher because many victims were never identified. Thousands of people suddenly found themselves homeless. They built temporary shelters in nearby fields and depended on food and supplies provided by the government and charitable organizations. Even though the destruction was enormous, many people saw the disaster as an opportunity to rebuild the city in a safer and more organized way. Architect Sir Christopher Wren played a major role in designing the new St. Paul Cathedral, which still stands today as one of the London's greatest landmarks. Wider streets were created, buildings were increasingly constructed from brick and stone instead of wood, and stricter building regulations were introduced to reduce the risk of future fire. These changes transformed London into a stronger and safer city. The Great Fire of London remains one of the most important events in British history. It showed how quickly a small accident could become a national disaster, but it also demonstrated the determination of people to rebuild after tragedy. Today, a tall monument known simply as the monument stands near the place where the fire began. It reminds visitors that even the darkest moment can lead to important improvement and lasting progress. The story continues to inspire people because it proves that courage, planning, and cooperation can help a community recover from even the greatest challenges.